Kia ora, hello, I'm Philip Duncan. Thanks for joining us for our Thursday update, recorded on July the 20th, and we're forecasting low pressure to dominate the North Island over the next few days, bringing a burst of gale force winds and then, unfortunately, rain in the places that don't really want it. Let's have a look and see where it is at the moment. This is where we will be for the later part of Thursday afternoon for New Zealand. Low pressure in that circle moving in towards the North Island. High pressure to the east means that there's a bit of a squash zone in that northeasterly wind as it moves down over Northland and Auckland and then into eastern Waikato and Coromandel Peninsula tonight and Friday. As the low crosses over the top of the country, the winds will change direction. So by Friday, many places will start to notice more of a southeasterly flow coming in. But there's high pressure to the east, the south and the west, and also way out over Western Australia as well. So that low is really guided by those three big highs, meaning it's moving around a little bit and a bit harder to lock in the rainfall and the exact timing for the wind. Now, the worst winds for places like Auckland look to be tonight and early Friday morning. As far as the rain's concerned, it's moved a little bit from yesterday's update. Now, yesterday, it was showing the top of the North Island getting very heavy rain. It's moved down into Auckland and Coromandel. So Coromandel Peninsula at a higher risk for having slips and maybe some localised flooding. And also similar story around East Cape and Gisborne. You're talking around about 80 or 90 millimetres, potentially more. And so unfortunately that does get you into that category for slips and localised areas of flooding. This is for 36 hours from 7 o'clock this evening. And we're also seeing a little bit of rain punching in there around Kaikoura. So here we are for Friday, that low bunny hopping around the top of the country and the heaviest rain coming in around sort of Auckland, and it'll be shifting more into Coromandel Peninsula, which will kind of shoulder the worst of that weather for Auckland, meaning that it'll become lighter and patchy for Auckland. But as the day wears on, that low moves around and that heavy rain slides down with those windy easterlies, which are windy nor'easters coming in for Canterbury, and over here a colder southerly change coming in for parts of Victoria and Tasmania, even Sydney getting a southerly, but it's nothing too major. On Saturday, the low is further to the east, the rain and showers sliding down the eastern side of the country, but it's dry for Waikato, dry for Auckland and Northland, with that southeasterly, which is often a dry direction once you get over the hills and ranges, but obviously it builds up the rain and cloud over on the eastern side. In Australia, Adelaide, you've got a cold front coming in, comes into Tasmania around about lunchtime, and then into Melbourne into the afternoon. It falls apart on Sunday, that cold change for Australia, but it will be a bit cooler for you in the southeast. Over in New Zealand, it's also a little cool with that easterly wind blowing. The worst of the winds pushing down now into Canterbury and Marlborough and through Cook Strait as an easterly though, so that's not usually too much of a problem for Cook Strait area. But the rain and showers carry on with heaviest falls around Kaikoura, but not so much around Gisborne now, drying out a lot more than it was. But a little bit of a low pressure zone there means a curve in the wind brings in that sou'wester and a few showers for you. So kicking off next week, the low falls apart, but you've still got that windy sou'easter. So for Hawke's Bay, Gisborne, that's the reason why our July Climate Watch update said you're still leaning a bit wetter than average because of systems like this still tracking across, because we still do have a chaotic weather pattern. As far as El Niño is concerned, it is still growing in the Pacific where they measure it at the equator in the sea surface temperatures, but it has to be coupled with the atmosphere, and the atmosphere is lingering. We're not seeing the El Niño weather pattern showing up so strongly. I mean, we're seeing it partially showing up here around Australia with these big highs, and we've seen more west to southwest winds in New Zealand lately, but because we're still in a neutral weather pattern, we still get lows like this. So it's being measured, sea surface temperatures are showing El Niño certainly forming, but the atmosphere is not linking up just yet. So we're still, as we said, it would probably be the end of winter, the start of spring. It's what we've been saying for most of this year. It is still looking likely to be the case, but we'll have to wait and see. So low pressure is still there on Monday, still a bit windy. And by the time we get to Tuesday, it's back to the southwesterly flow for New Zealand. That low is almost entirely gone. A slight southerly over here, fading away, but back to the westerly winds again next week. And over here in Australia, southeasterly winds. Your turn to get those with showers as well. And up in the tropics, a few big downpours around Vanuatu. It's been cooler for parts of Fiji lately with the southerly flow coming out of New Zealand, but you'll start to warm up again, I think, once that easterly returns. That's all from me. See you again tomorrow, Friday, with our next update.